Hey everyone, welcome to a new video on the channel. Today we are going to be looking at the TBR jar and how we're going to set it up for 2023. As you can see, we have still got quite a few of the prompts that were in the jar from last year, and after talking with my best friend who also uses this jar with me, we've decided to change things up a lot. It's definitely not going to look as full. There was quite a few more of these actually in a little baggie that we've used already. But what we did wrong last time was we made more than one copy of the same thing. Here we go. I just had one. There it is. We had multiples of the same prompts. And in some cases that worked out really well for, like, we read a lot of romance and romance, so that's, did I say romance and romance? It works out really well because we read a lot of fantasy and romance novels, so when we got lots of fantasy or romance as prompts, that made it easy for us. But there were lots of prompts that we hardly got, so like magic realism was one of them. I don't think I ever got last color. There was a lot of colors in here. Yeah, there was just a lot that we didn't get to, and we really wanted to change it up for the year of 2023. So these ones here can now go in the bin, and we're going to create some new ones today. I've got this really lovely blue paper here this time round for the cards. I've got our printout of our new 2023 prompts, and we've got only double ups of two things: fantasy and romance. The rest we've only got one of, so there will definitely be only a small amount of cards in here. And what the goal will be is to get through the entire lot that's in the jar before we return them back to the jar, so we're getting a recycled amount of prompts, because the amount of times I got a retelling or cute cover and none of the rest was quite a lot. So without talking too much, I'm going to now start setting this up, probably do a time lapse of this. All I'm going to do is, I could have printed this out on sticker paper, but I like printing it out on laser paper just because I find that the sticker paper that I have, I need to get better quality sticker paper for one, but I find that it is incredibly what is the word, thin.
So just doing the voiceover now really quick. As you can see, I went ahead and cut out each of the strips of prompts, and then the tedious task of double-sided tape onto the backs to stick on the card. And because my paper trimmer is still out of commission right now, I did everything by hand, cutting it out and then individually cutting out each prompt and sticking them in the jar. It was quite a fun project, though I must admit, with all the double-sided tape on the back, those cards get quite thick to cut through, and I remember using scissors last time as well, so it did take a lot longer than I expected it to. But I'm glad that it's all done now, and we are ready for the year ahead with all the prompts. And I am now going to pass you back over to past Shell when she was filming this, and carry on.
So if you're new to the channel and haven't seen me do the TBR jar game before, this is a way of getting through some books that I have on my shelf or want to read. And each prompt has something on it that will hopefully enable me to think of a book to read. It helps with just keeping motivation and direction to my reading, because I'm not a mood reader. I do like structure, and whilst I will happily mood read, I definitely like the fact that having a game like this keeps me on track with my goals. And because I read quite a lot each year, this helps break up some of the monotony of choosing for me. It keeps things a little bit exciting. So I'm going to change things up just slightly for the year of 2023. I'm going to go from 6 down to 5 prompts. So each month I will draw out 5 prompts, and I have to read all 5 prompts to complete the TBR jar game. If I don't complete a prompt or prompts during that month, then in the following month when I play the game again, I have to pick up an extra prompt, so that will mean 6 prompts that month. That's the sort of punishment to the game. It's not really a punishment by too much of an extreme, but I still like having that there to motivate me to get through all my prompts. And also there are a couple in here that are for my best friend, since she also uses the jar, and if they come out I don't have to read those, I will just draw again. We have double ups of just 2 prompts in here, the fantasy and the romance prompts, so if they came up in the month prior we can choose to draw out another prompt or not, depending on how we feel about it at that time. And I think that's about it. It's a very simple game. We've got all these prompts in here, so let's draw out the first 5 prompts of 2023. Okay, I'm ready to play. So we need to draw out 5 prompts. Let's see how lucky we are in the jar today. It's kind of exciting because they're all new and feel fresh to touch. Let's grab in there and grab one out straight away. We've got one. What have we got? An ebook. Well, that'll be very easy because I have a lot of arcs on my list that I need to read, so I will definitely use that for that. Prompt number 2. Oh, there we go, grabbed one. Fantasy. Again, that'll be very helpful for some of the prompts, the arcs that I have to read. January is definitely going to be an arc month, just FYI. Okay, prompt number 3. Okay, a KU/indie book. So my best friend has Kindle Unlimited, I don't, so we put down indie just to make sure that it would cover both of us. Generally that's a lot of what's on Kindle Unlimited. Okay, prompt number 4. Okay, I got one. Colour wheel. So for colour wheel, it means we have to grab a wheel of colours, and whatever the spin lands on is the colour that I have to try and match to, and if I don't have that colour on my TBR or on my shelf to read, then something that is close as possible. Right, let's see what it's going to be. It's teal. Okay, I think we can work with that. And the final prompt, let's see. Okay, pole pick. Okay, that'll be fun. This is one where I'll put up 2 books that I want to read and let my followers on Instagram pick which one they want. So that'll be fun. There's our 5 prompts. Let's go find some books to put with them. Okay, so we're going to run through all the books that I have chosen. They're all going to be arcs for this month. I'm very excited that I was able to fit all of them onto the list. And so I've got my computer beside me so I can read out some of the synopsis and all that. Let's get into the first book. So for ebook, I'm going with Bound to the Fae King, which is by Megan Van Dyke. It is the second book in the Courts of Fairy series that she self-published last year. This book is coming out in mid-January, and it follows along with one of my favourite characters from the first book, Sigurd. He is the main male character, but it is told probably from the female main character's point of view, which is Ren, and she works in a bar trying to make ends meet because she has an ailing grandmother and she wants to provide for her and her grandmother. Unfortunately, one night at the bar she is taken by robbers, and to flee them she runs into a forest and crosses over into the court of air and meets the king there, who this is the only iffy part to the storyline for me, is taken back by Rem because she is the spitting image of his past love. And I don't know how that's going to work in the storyline, but I'm still eager to see his story come together because I really enjoyed him in book 1. And to gain her freedom away from Sigurd, since he's not going to let her go a second time round, she enters a competition to try and get back to her family. I really like the way that this author writes. 𝓬𝓮 is one of the most fantastic thinking of, how to put it, 𝓬𝓮 is one of the creative writers that I really enjoyed of 2022. I'm on her street team and I've read every single book she's released so far. She's got a massive lineup for 2023, which I'm super excited for, and I'm hopeful that book 2 of this series will really drag me in. I gave the first book in this series 4 stars, but it wasn't quite my favourite by this author, so I'm hoping that with having my favourite character as the main male character, that I will get to enjoy this a little bit more. For fantasy, I am going with Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. This is my first time reading a book by this author, but the synopsis sounds really fun. It is about a professor, Emily Wilde, and she knows a lot of things. She's very good at the study of fairies, and because of this, she ends up having to travel to a village to help them deal with, I think, the secrets of the hidden ones, which is some fairies that are there, and she is not very good with people, so she's going to have to navigate her time in this village and around the fair folk, and I just think it sounds really magical, and I'm looking forward to reading this. Again, it comes out in January, I think January the 26th. No, sorry, January the 19th, and I think this will be a really good read, so hopefully I will enjoy it. For indie book, I am going with Beauty and the Blade, and that is by S.C. Grayson, and I think it is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast given the title. It's really interesting how this author writes, and so for the synopsis of this, Nathaniel Woodrow is known on the streets of London as the Beast, yeah, it is Beauty and the Beast, and is the leader of the fearsome Lion Gang. And since her mother was found dead with the signature slashes from this gang on her face years ago, Contessa has wanted nothing more than to bring justice. So I'm gonna guess that she gets in on the inside of his gang and probably ends up being, yes, yeah, it sounds like she's put into the criminal underworld, and she finds that he's actually more of kind-hearted than what she believes, and starts to question everything that she's been fighting for the justice. So this author is one that I read a book from last year and I quite enjoyed it. I really liked the idea of it and just wish the execution was a little bit better, but I do think that this author has a lot of potential, and with more books out I think that she's just going to grow into something really great, so I'm looking forward to picking this one up. It is also out in January the 26th, so lots of these books are going to be out next month and I'm looking forward to reviewing them all. Okay, so for colour wheel we got teal, and I'm going to go with Josh and Gemma the second time around. Now the cover on this has a bit of teal on it, so that's what I'm going for. I looked at my shelves, I don't have anything in physical form that I have not yet read that has teal on it, and this was on my ARC list, so I figured why not, we'll go with this. So this is the sequel to Josh and Gemma Make a Baby, and I'm really looking forward to this. I enjoyed Josh and Gemma last year, around this time of year actually. I think I read it in January last year or February, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing how this couple have evolved together. Gemma is Josh's neighbor, I think, and also he is her the brother's best friend, and they ended up creating a baby together, which makes sense given the title of the first book. And it was really, really sweet how it went together, quite an emotional read, and I think that this time around they're having troubles. So this book focuses on what happens after the happily ever after, and how things change. I'm not too sure, given the level of angst that's in the synopsis, how it's going to go, but I'm hopeful that it won't be too emotional, and it'll be just as enjoyable as the first book. This is written by Sarah Reddy, and I've only read Josh and Gemma, but I really did enjoy it, so that's why I signed up for the sequel arc. And for poll pick, I'm going to go through these two books here. I have these out from the library, and I'm going to put a poll up on Instagram in the new year. Sorry, I've just had a coughing fit, and so that's why I sound a little bit weird. But I've got these two books here, and I'm going to put up a poll and see which one people recommend me reading first. I like the sound of both of them. I've wanted to read The Donut Trap for the longest time, but 𝓕𝓲 is one that came up a lot over 2022, and it's caught my eye quite a few times, so I'm going to give it a go. It'll be my first sapphic read, and this just sounds absolutely delightful. So The Donut Trap is about Jasmine Tran, and she has to return home to work in her parents' donut shop, and she just wants to break away from the monotony of that life. And so her old college crush Alex Lay has become incredibly successful over the years, and he's someone that she should wish for, but after a disastrous dinner she realizes he's not as perfect as she thought. So it'll be interesting to see how that one turns out. And then 𝓕𝓲 is about how she would never, it's another one going back to the hometown. She swore that she would never go back to Bright Falls because it didn't give very great memories, but her life in New York is over, so now she's got to go back. And then when her estranged stepsister pressures her into photographing her wedding, 𝓕𝓲 finds herself there again, and that's where she sees Claire Sutherland, her stepsister's stuck-up bestie. So that'll be really interesting. I think the best friend is a single mum as well, and that's probably why I wanted to read it. I quite enjoy that as a I wouldn't say a challenge, but like a storyline, and how romance works around that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to both of these a great deal, and I'm going to let my followers choose. Okay, so aside from the 6 books that we've got for the prompts, given that 5 of them are for the prompts, and then whatever one that doesn't get picked for the poll pick will be another read on my TBR for January. I've got 2 more books here. I am limiting my TBR each month to 8 books instead of the 10, just because I do really want to intentionally finish my TBR each month and also slow down reading. That is the entire goal. So I've got Scythe here by 𝓤𝓲𝓮𝓻. If you watched my TBR book of the month, you would know that for January I have to read this one. It is a sci-fi dystopian book, and it's all about if we lived in a world where diseases and everything were gone, how do we cull the population when it gets too much. And the characters in this book are both scythes. They go around and do just that, and then they realize that there's more to the world than what they've been told. So I'm really looking forward to this book. A friend recommended it to me and I've seen several other people recommend it. I've got all the series on my shelf ready to go, so I think this came up on my TBR a couple of times and I just never got around to reading it. So for January, it is definitely going to be the one that I pick up. And then for book club, I don't have the one for our romance book club that I belong to, but for the fantasy book club that I co-host, To Whatever End, we are reading The Whispering Dark by Kelly Andrew, and this is a dark academia book, I believe, from vague memory. So this book is about Delaney, and she is deaf and she's accepted into a prestigious program at a university that trains students to slip between the parallel worlds, and this is an exciting chance for her to prove herself, but she has a rocky start and she crosses paths with Colton Price, who I believe is the pretentious upperclassman that she's told to keep some distance from, and then someone dies. So it's a murder mystery, and they have to form an alliance. So I'm really looking forward to reading this, even though it is a paranormal thriller and I don't normally read those. It's got mixed reviews, but this was the book that won for the poll. I wanted to read The Poison Season, but unfortunately it's not out in physical form in New Zealand yet, so I couldn't pick it up before the date that we start this. So it's kind of good that we ended up choosing this one, and we'll do The Poison Season study. Which one is it? Later on. When we can all get a copy of it, because some of us are in the same country, but 3 of us are here in New Zealand and couldn't get access to it. So those are all the books that I'm going to be reading for the month of January, along with these ones. I've still got a couple of other library books that I want to finish if I can, and I definitely need to get through all those arcs, and I hope that you look forward to seeing my reviews of these books. I'm going to change things up a little bit over the year of 2023, hopefully, and do a bit more vlogging style of what I think about books, and I hope that you'll enjoy the process and come along with me. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today, setting up the TBR jar, and I'll see you in a new video sometime very soon. Bye everyone!